Did you know that the words that you say in your ads, in your social media content, in your email communications, and on your website can all influence a decision in someone's mind, whether or not they want to click through, whether they want to sign up or make an appointment with you? If you don't get this right, then this can actually deter people from going forward and signing up or making their booking. In this episode, I'm going to chat with Brandy, and we are talking about copywriting, why it's important to get it right, and the consequences of not getting it right. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to another podcast episode. Today, my guest is Brandy, and Brandy is going to tell us about copywriting, which is the thing that she does. So I'm so pleased to have you here. So if you could just start by telling us, yeah, why did you decide that copywriting was what you wanted to do? And yeah, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I actually got into copywriting kind of on accident. I had always loved writing, but I think when I looked into writing professions, there just wasn't a whole lot out there, explaining what you could do with it. So I actually first moved to Spain to teach English, and I did that for several years. And then I started to slowly, there was one summer where we lived in a really small fishing village, and no one wanted English lessons. So we had to
Oh,
find another way to make some money over the summer while we were in between teaching gigs.
yeah.
So I got on Upwork and realized, there's a market for writing. I can help people with this skill. And so then that was the year before COVID. So obviously COVID happened in 2020 and we were under one of the harshest lockdowns, in the world
Mm.
in Spain. And that was kind of a natural transition for me to full-time copywriting. And I've been full-time with it ever since. So yeah, that's kind of how I got my start with it.
Oh, wonderful. So you saw an opportunity and you just went straight into it.
Yeah, it worked out. And I think that it's funny how these things work. Like I think I probably could have seen something about copywriting and just thought it sounded, like I'm going to be writing on the back of shampoo bottles or something that didn't quite catch my attention. So I sort of needed to happen into it, I think, the way that I did. And now obviously I love it and I'm so fascinated by all the sales psychology and everything that goes into it. So yeah, I'm really glad that I happened into it the way that I did.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's really lucky. And I was actually just wondering, like, off the back of that. So, like, part of the reason why I do what I do is because um, I feel like I could do it better than other people. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, I do feel like I had a natural, like I had always heard from my teachers and stuff that I was really good at writing and I really wasn't good at, science and math. So it always felt like something that I should pursue. But it's funny because just being a good writer doesn't necessarily mean you're a good copywriter. So I
Mm-hmm.
did have to shift my thinking. Like good copywriting sometimes will break grammar rules and you have to write in really short, simple
Mm-hmm.
sentences. And so you kind of have to undo a little bit of that like academic style of writing that maybe you learn in school. But yeah, I loved that shift and I didn't mind it at all. So.
Mm. Yeah, that's really good, and I'm glad you understand that, and hopefully you can explain this better than me. But I find I'm really good at technical stuff, and in one of my previous jobs, I was helping website owners, business owners improve the SEO on their websites. And one thing that people don't realize is that um, understanding how to write for a website and for SEO is its own skill. Like you could, and
Mm.
knowing the technical side of SEO, they're all separate skills. And just because you got a degree in writing or something like that, like you just said, doesn't mean that you know how to put the words together for a website.
Yeah, that's so true. I actually started doing more SEO style writing, and I've switched to doing now more conversion copywriting. I do still sort of try to tread that line of being sort of SEO optimized with how I'm writing headlines, and there is so much that goes into it. I always prioritize, once the person lands on the page, making sure that we have everything there that will get them to take that next step and make them develop that
Mm,
trust that we need, and that sort of thing. But yeah, it really isn't just writing like words that sound good. I think, a lot of people sort of think that's what I do. It's just
mm,
sentences that sound nice, and when you think of it that way, it does sort of sound like anyone could do this, or
mm-hmm.
AI could easily replace it, or anything like that. But yes, there really are so many extra layers that go into what we do, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, exactly. And that is actually a really great segue into my next question. So I wanted to ask you, so how does good or bad writing affect, um, how does it affect your website, or I guess your ads even, in terms of business? How I know that, a good or bad ad can make someone click or not, and a good or bad website can make, compel someone, to make a purchase or not. Yeah, how would you break that down?
Yeah, so I think that a really good way to summarize my thoughts around this is there's a saying, a confused mind doesn't buy.
Hmm.
And so we really need to have clarity and specificity in there. And another thing I'll say is, especially with ads, we sort of think we need to focus a lot on our competitors as like industry competitors, but
Hmm.
often with ads, or maybe always with ads, we're really competing with like cat videos on the internet, and
Hmm.
celebrity gossip, and like, the latest news about your favorite TV shows, and things that are lighting up those dopamine, centers a lot more than, you know, a really dense paragraph about your business or something. So we
Mm.
have to think about what's a really specific hook that is going to capture that person's attention, just like celebrity gossip or whatever they
Hmm.
see in their algorithm there is feeding them. Um, and making sure it's really short and snappy, because otherwise, just purely on a biological level, our brains are constantly trying to find ways to use fewer calories,
Mm.
just to preserve that energy for more important tasks.
Yeah.
So we're not reading everything that we're scrolling past.
Hmm.
Our brain is sort of filtering out what's valuable, what's useful, what's relevant, and
Hmm.
what's not. And so we
Hmm.
don't even read stuff that's not relevant to us. It just filters
Hmm.
out. Um, so that, I think, is really important, to have that good copywriting on the ad to get that person's attention in the first place,
Hmm.
and immediately have them think, oh, that's a problem I'm experiencing, or
Hmm.
that's something I need in my life right now. Because that's what's going to drive the click. And
Yeah.
then having that after the click, obviously, they're probably going to your website or a landing page. And that's another thing, we really have to have the consistency of that message. I know it's really popular to test lots of different ads and see what
Hmm.
works, but if you click something that says one thing, and then you go over to the landing page and it is trying to sell you something completely different, there's inconsistency there. There's like, it's not congruent, and
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
you're just gonna bounce away. You know what I mean? So we need that consistency, and we need that sort of attention grabbing specificity in there.
Yes, that is exactly right. And this is exactly my dilemma. In my day job, I set up and manage Google ads for clients, and they'll often ask me to do a Google ad for something, but they have no page on the website about that topic.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think you
Yeah,
can
I see
understand
that a
what happens.
lot. Yes, exactly. I see a lot where people are sort of just driving traffic to like their homepage,
Hmm.
or something that's not, it doesn't line up with what they were sold on the ad. And I
Yeah.
think we don't think about that. You do have to think about that journey. You like think about the person literally scrolling on their phone, their TV's on, their kids are
Hmm.
yelling, they're trying to make dinner, like so much is going
Hmm.
on, and you've
Hmm.
already got their attention enough that they clicked on the ad.
Yeah.
but it's sort of wasted if you don't have the message that lines up and
Yeah,
continues that journey after the click. So you do have to think about the journey after the click for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And this is, yeah, even like I was saying with Google Ads, if somebody's looking for something on Google, they either want to buy it now or they're looking for an answer to a problem that they're having. And yeah, if, like you said, if they just go to a homepage that isn't directly lined up with what they're searching for, it's like maybe you as the business owner know that that answer exists in your head, but they're not going to
Yeah.
go on a treasure hunt on your website just to find it.
Yes, that's so true. And we do really have to step out of the business owner
Mm,
headspace because your solution is great. You
mhm.
know that it'll solve their problem, but like because of like what I was saying about, consuming as few calories as possible, we really do have to pay attention to what message is going to get them to understand that
Yep.
your solution helps with their problem by consuming as few calories as possible. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think sending people to a homepage is often sort of a missed opportunity in that way.
Hmm. Yeah. So have you actually like seen any comparisons yourself?
In terms of like data for
Yeah.
homepages versus landing pages,
Yeah.
not recently. I don't have any actual data to share with you, which would be, really valuable to have right now.
Yeah.
But um, I do just know based on conversion copywriting principles and sales psychology and all of these things that
Hmm.
we do have to help people connect those dots and not,
Hmm.
assuming people aren't intelligent or not providing respect, not none of
Hmm.
those things, but just purely to support the decision making process. I mean, if they have to go hunting for solutions and maybe you
Hmm.
have one page that's like FAQs and that gives them one answer that they need, and then they go
Hmm.
to another like services page and that gives them another answer they need. They just don't have that time. They have a kid on their hip, or they're you
Hmm.
know they're in the middle of like a soccer game, or they're doing something really quickly. So you do have to think about that sort of um those sort of fleeting moments that we spend online.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can think of an example with one of mine. The business wants people to sign up for um, let's call it yoga classes. But they do all these other things in their business as well. But there's no page on their website. Oh, sorry, there is a page on their website, but there's no timetable. There's no booking calendar or booking form. It's just like email us if you're interested.
Mm.
That nobody's got time for that.
Yeah, that's so true. And actually, that does make me think I have a client right now who I'm going to be helping. And I think I find this often. I've done a little bit of research on this client. It's like a medical practice. And a lot of medical websites are like this. They don't really have one landing page that has all the information that you need to feel confident
Yep.
booking that first appointment. And that's actually really important because a lot of people have anxiety around
Hmm.
those sorts of things, doing it for the first time and all of that. So we're going to be creating that landing page because right now they do sort of have the answers on different pages and it's all helpful information, but just
Hmm.
consolidating it, I think is going to provide a lot of support for these people that need help.
Yeah. Yeah, I do find that happens a lot. Myself
Yeah.
as a someone who's looking for a medical professional, like I know what I want to see on a website, but like you said, the business owner or the practitioner, they're only seeing it from their perspective, not the customer's perspective.
Yeah, that's so true. And when you get into a field like that, you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do all this marketing." You just
Mm,
specialize in the thing you're
yeah.
specialized in, and then later you realize like, "Oh, I actually need a website and I need all of these things." So you're not coming at it with those same thoughts around, what's the
Mm,
patient experience like when they
yep.
first land on my website? And that is really important because normally, I mean, always, people always seek solutions when they have problems. But I would say,
Hmm.
especially for health and things like that, it is really important to make sure the information is easy to find and accessible. And because that is kind of a point of tension and stress
Hmm.
for people when they're seeking that kind of support.
Yeah. exactly. Yeah, I agree. And this is a great tie into my next question, which is, so do you ever find that somebody comes to you with a problem, but actually what they need is not what they're asking for?
Yeah, for sure. This does, like, we've already sort of covered, this does happen a lot with sales pages.
Yeah.
People and landing pages, people will come to me, like maybe they have come up with an offer
Mm,
and they think that it sounds really good, or maybe they even have some people that have voiced that that would be supportive for them.
mm-hmm.
So the natural next step in their head is, well, I need a page to sell the offer.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. That makes logical sense. But I think it's really important to look at the journey before people hit that sales page,
Yeah.
because um, obviously there's so many different strategies involved, but the the thing we have to think about is, how are people landing on that page?
Mm,
How are we driving traffic to the page? Do you have an email list that's engaged with the ideal client for this offer?
mm-hmm.
Are they going to be excited when you start talking about it? Are they going to be ready to click to the page? Or are you planning on running paid ads to send people to the page? Or do you have another sort of strategy that you've already mapped out? Because at the end of the day, I can write,
Yeah.
the most dazzling, amazing sales page in existence, but if you don't have a way of driving the target audience to the page, you're not going to get the results that you want.
Yes.
So unfortunately, and that is, something that is a bummer to me, because I want you to get the best results possible for,
Mm-hmm.
our project together. And for you, obviously, you want to get those results and you want to be able to help more people. Um, so there are times when people come to me for a sales page and maybe I'll say, hey, we need to look at your, like, what are you doing to nurture your email list? Are you sending valuable content? Are you connecting with the
Mm-hmm.
person who's going to be the ideal customer for the offer? What does that look like? Um, and so I can suggest, a welcome sequence that will help do that, or some nurture content, or
Mm-hmm.
um, we can talk about paid ads or that kind of thing. But I will obviously, if people have other ideas and they just want a sales page, I can definitely write a sales page, but I'll always be, transparent about, maybe that is not the most value you could get from me
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, and from this this project that we work on together. So yeah, it makes total sense that you would want to, like, get that page up, just
Mm-hmm.
get the offer online. Like, it makes so much sense, but it's just something that a lot of people don't consider, of, like, we do have to nurture that dream client for the offer first, because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't sound as fun as making those sales, obviously.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Um, yeah, so I guess, like, how do you, I mean, you explained how you help someone, walk through that if they are missing those other steps, like how you get people to that page. I have that problem too. But often
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm here, I'm ready to do Google ads or Facebook ads. Yes, but I'm sorry, but you're not ready for that.
Yes. Yeah, it's so true. Because I mean, it makes sense. Like, if people, they want to make sales, they think, well, I need to advertise.
Mm,
I need I need ads, I need a page. Like, it does make a lot of sense that that would be the next logical step. But there's just some sort of not as glamorous preliminary work, and it's still really
mhm.
valuable work too, providing value and connecting with your audience and all of that. That's super important.
Yeah,
But it is a little bit overlooked sometimes. It's kind of funny that we have similar, experiences in this way.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought I was the only one. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure other people have this problem too.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so the next thing I wanted to ask you is, who are your best clients?
Um, so over the past few years, I've worked primarily with coaches and digital product creators, people who have an online course or a membership, a mastermind, an ebook, something that they're selling primarily
Yeah.
online. Um, I will say I am making a slight pivot into fitness and health over
Mhm.
the next few months, which I'm really excited about. But yes, I have a lot of experience working on funnels for digital products. So, for example, we'll have, paid ads that lead to a landing page that nurture people through a funnel of valuable emails and maybe sell, a higher ticket service on the back end of that. Um, so that is what I have, most of my experiences is in that sort of area. But yeah, I'm excited to be niching a little bit more specific into the fitness world. So that's coming up for me.
Oh, that's so good. Is this just kind of like your interest has shifted or
Yeah, um I think I'm a quite indecisive person, I think.
yeah.
So I have resisted a more specific niche and I have been more of a generalist, and that's been really fun because I get to work on all different kinds of
Mm,
offers for all different kinds of people, and I do love that, and I still want to do that, but I like the idea of shifting my focus to something that I am passionate about, because I think
mm,
that that shows up, when you look at businesses that are out there talking about what they do. If you're passionate about it, I think that does make a difference. So I'm excited to get to sort of talk about something that I'm really naturally drawn to and have put a lot of energy into in my life.
yeah. No, that's good. That makes sense. And yeah, I think for me, like I like having variety in terms of the different clients that I work with, but there are just some industries where I'm like, how do I make, I don't know, uh, coal mining interesting?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I'd rather, yeah, if it's like I do hope I do get to I hope I get to one point where I can like pick people to that degree, but sometimes um like depending on where you are, you sort of like have to take whatever you can get and then niche down from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I still will be doing that. I think that I will be talking more about like the fitness space, but I do have clients that I've been working with for years that are, financial coaches and in a
Mhm.
completely different area, and I love serving them and I'm not going to stop. So I think that that's where I'll get variety, but I completely understand what you're saying. Like I have had that resistance, and it is so fun to get the variety, and it
Mhm.
is like a nice brain challenge to to have something that you know nothing about and then
Mhm.
go and do
Yeah.
that research and learn how to make it appealing to people, and yeah, that is something that I love too.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's the best way for your ideal client to connect with you?
You can definitely check out my website, bewellswriting.com. I do have a new free resource that you can look at the sort of best ways to automate the process of bringing more right fit clients into your world. It's called Leads on Autopilot. So
Mhm.
that's something that you can download from my resources page, or I also have it connected on Instagram. My handle is bewellswriting there too. And then I'm on LinkedIn a lot lately. So I'm Brandy Wells on LinkedIn, and I would love to connect and say hello there too.
Oh, wonderful. That's excellent. Yeah, and just for the sake of people listening, so um you've come into this you're joining me in UK time and I'm
Yes,
in Eastern Australia time. Uh so do you work with anyone anywhere in the world?
yes, I do. Often these days, it's mostly people in the US that I'm working with, but I do have some clients in Australia. Probably more in Australia than in Europe, actually, which is really interesting.
Hmm.
But yeah, I work with people anywhere and I always have, and that's another thing that I love about this. I can usually always find, a time that works to connect kind of like us and make it work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is so fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Brandy. That was really interesting to learn about what you do and great to hear your answers to those questions.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me and for making the time to chat today.